What's going on, everybody? This is the Black Trekker. Thank you for taking the time out your day, morning, afternoon, or evening to sit in with me for a few ticks as we talk about the next episode of Startrek Picard, Episode 2. Now, this episode takes place 2 weeks prior to Admiral Picard and Captain Riker encountering Beverly Crusher that's injured in a stasis pod and her son, Jack Crusher. So basically what happens is Jack Crusher is in charge of the helm of this ship called the Arrows. And they're on an errand of mercy. They're going to this planet that is suffering from a plague. And what happens is that they get encountered by the Defenseless Rangers. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but nonetheless, the Defenseless Rangers are basically patrolling the sector for criminals and pirates. And they intercept them and they board his vessel. Now, interesting enough about these Rangers is that they discovered that he's actually holding something that's illegal, which is Romulan L, which is illegal in most of the known galaxy, especially territory that is controlled by the Federation and also its allies. Although it's a commodity that's really good and pleasurable, it's like a high-end wine, nonetheless, it's still illegal. So what happens is that they cite that to him. He counters with a quick retort, and then the one guard makes a statement, well, it looks like you're trying to bribe us. And he was like, no, if I'm trying to bribe you, I'm going to bribe you with weapons. And he pulls out some type of rifle, and the Defenseless Ranger is like, okay, they take it. So they take the rifles, but before the Defenseless Ranger leaves, he gets on some kind of communication device and gets in contact with somebody. And then from there, they depart. And then so what happens is that it goes back to present day. And then it goes back to present day, and it talks about how Picard and also Captain Riker are basically trying to understand who's attacking them. And what happens is Admiral Picard gets really clever. He enables some transporter inhibitors because he discovers that they're trying to beam Jack Crusher off the ship. They don't really have any interest in Beverly Crusher, and they don't have any interest in actually Admiral Picard or Captain Riker. They're not important. Although they're important people in Starfleet, they're not important to them. So what occurs is that after they're blocked from being able to energize, what occurs is then we go to the section of the episode that is really not important and ultimately just terrible. We go to the part where Ralphie, she's talking to her handler. And her handler is basically some encrypted AI responsive computer that's talking to her and basically saying that the Federation has already attained who was responsible for the portal bombing because the previous week installation for recruiting in the Federation, it didn't say exactly where in the Federation, some off backwater planet, was able to get destroyed by some kind of new portal technology that the Daystrom Institute ineffectually was unable to keep guarded, and somebody was able to steal it, some high security technology like that. You would have thought that like Starfleet Intelligence would have that, or Section 31, but the Daystrom Institute has that, of all places. Stupid. So with that being said, she's on the prowl to find out who that is. Now, her handler tells her to stand down, do not engage. That's the name of the episode, disengage. But of course, she's going to be belligerent and she's not going to follow orders. And she's like, I'm going to find out who it is. Now, they believe that it was a Ferengi. I don't remember his name. Oh, Sneed. Yeah, Sneed is the Ferengi that's supposedly behind it, in cahoots with some kind of Romulan. I'm wondering, why do they keep going back to the trope of the Romulans every freaking season? Like, let's cut it out with the Romulans. I mean, they can't be this much of a player in the 25th century, considering their home star system got destroyed. That's one. And then two, they're fragmented throughout the Alpha and Beta Quadrant. I mean, come on, get serious. Anyway, so back to Ralphie. She's talking to her handler. She's upset. She's going to go John Wayne, and she's going to do it herself. So then we get back to on the USS Titan. Now, the USS Titan, the modified one, is a Constitution retro refit, and it's got the design of kind of like a Constitution class starship with modern 25th century technology. The problem with that is that it's not really technologically as advanced as I thought it was. because what happens is that now Shaw is talking to Annika Hansen, aka 7 and 9, about how her loyalty to Admiral Picard and also Captain Riker has put her career in jeopardy. What I take from Captain Shaw is he's like really by the book, and he doesn't really deviate ever, and he's really cushioned his position by following orders and never like stepping outside of them, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing because you're a captain and you're kind of supposed to be like believing in a cowboy diplomacy, as Admiral Spock once said. But anyway, he's going back and forth with Annika, and then she's telling him like, listen, you can't let these legends die. Are you going to be the captain that's going to be remembered as the captain that saved legends or saved heroes, or are you going to be the captain that's going to be remembered as letting legends die? And I guess that set in with him because even though he has a disdain and a low-key disrespect for Captain Riker and Admiral Picard, he know full well what they did. I mean, if you're in the Federation, or even if you're not in the Federation, you should have a healthy respect for what Admiral Picard did, and also Captain Riker. I mean, they fought the Borg. They fought the Borg and they won against the Borg on numerous occasions. So you have to have a level of reverence and respect for these men. And no matter what your position is in Starfleet, be it an admiral or be it a captain, you have to, if they come on your ship, you got to show them the utmost respect because they literally have decades of experience dealing with the unknown. And although Captain Shaw has commanded his ship for 5 years, 36 missions, he hasn't encountered anything like what the crew of the Enterprise D did, or even the Enterprise E on the Sovereign. So having a level of respect and understanding for Admiral Picard and his experience would be a good thing. And Annika Hansen, aka 709, she really didn't have an affiliation with Admiral Picard, but of course she knew he was Locutus of Borg, and she also knew his reputation of a man being honorable and a man who basically got stuff done. Anyway, so we are once again wrapped into whatever's going on with Ralphie. It pans back to Ralphie. Ralphie is on some planet that we don't know, and now she's looking for an intro, a connect into this underworld to be able to get in contact with the Romulan who was supposedly paid off by Sneed to be able to use the portal weapon to attack Starfleet. Now, this is my thing. They keep emphasizing in this episode that she was a junkie. They keep emphasizing in this episode that she's going to go off half-cocked. They keep emphasizing in this episode that she is a part of the underworld. This is not what Star Trek is about. I hate to beat a dead horse, but goodness gracious, this whole story arc about Ralphie, why is she even in this season? I could have did without the whole 10 minutes of her whole entire arc in this episode. It's complete, utter garbage. Anyway, so she meets her ex-husband or her ex-boyfriend, and her ex-boyfriend, ex-husband basically is like, hey, did you come to talk about our son? Because in season 2, she had went and ambushed her son at some kind of hospital. I don't know exactly what the planet was. He's some kind of engineer. And she was trying to, broker some kind of communication with him because they were estranged. They were not on the best terms. And he didn't want nothing to do with her. He let her saw her granddaughter from a distance, and that was it. But the ex-husband was thinking that she was going to try to come back and make amends. That's what the whole point of this meeting was. But no, she wanted to get an intro into a conversation with Sneed. He was actually taken aback by that. He was like, so you're trying to come here to get an intro with Sneed, but you don't want to talk to your son? And he was like, listen, pick one. But another thing that I don't like about this particular arc with Ralphie is that it's taking 21st century issues like drug use and also the dark underworld of gangsters and applying it to the 25th century. Now, Am I making the assumption that in the 25th century there's not going to be any gangsters or a dark underworld of criminal activity? Absolutely not. I'm pretty sure there will be, as long as there's civilizations. But the point is that this has been a consistent and ongoing arc of Ralphie's behavior for 2 straight seasons. I mean, when is she going to evolve? And then this is the stupid part. She kept emphasizing to him that I'm a part of Starfleet intelligence. I'm a part of Starfleet intelligence. I'm like, look, this man obviously knows that you are a part of Starfleet intelligence. I mean, you not only said it 3 times, but also you have been a part of Starfleet for well over a year or 2. So come on now, stop it. You don't got to keep repeating it. It's like the writers of this particular episode are thinking that we're dumb and we don't realize that she's a part of Starfleet intelligence. So he's like, pick one. Pick one. Who you going to want to be with? You want to get in contact with your son? Because I could broach a good conversation with you and him. Or I can get you involved with Sneed. So she don't really say nothing. And then what happens is that she wants to meet Sneed over having a relationship with her son. So the dude says, okay, cool, I'm done with you. I wish I could be done with her too, but unfortunately, I got to watch this mess. All right, so then what happens is that it pans back, and then Picard is rescued by the USS Titan after that speech from Annika about saving heroes. And I kind of was wondering, like, why did the Titan just, like, it literally jumped in front of the actual ship. And the ship's called the Skreek, and it's named after some kind of bird. I don't know if it's an earth bird or a fictional bird, but it's named after the Skreek or the shear. And I guess they did that to break the transporter lock of the tractor beam. Excuse me, not transporter lock, the tractor beam lock. So they blocked the tractor beam block, and then what happens is that they beam everybody onto the ship. Everybody's on the ship, and instead of warping out of there at maximum warp, oh, guess what Captain Shaw, old goofy butt, wants to do? Oh no, I want to know who it is. I want to know who is following us. Now, meanwhile, Captain Shaw, you're not in Federation space. You're in an unknown, well, not really unknown, but you're in an area that's just outside of Federation space. Logic would dictate that you would beam them on and you would instantly go to warp. But what he does is he turns around the ship, they face to face, mano a mano, and then this weird old captain answers the request to speak to him, and the captain's name is Captain Vedic. And I'm thinking Vedic, like Vedic Win? Vedic? So that's a name of a religious figure on Bajor. Okay, whatever. So the captain is weird. She's goofy, and she knows who Captain Shaw is. Apparently, she read his psychological report. She definitely knows who Admiral Picard is. She knows who Captain Riker is. She knows who everybody is. So I guess, she is well informed about Starfleet admirals and captains. But I mean, in all reality, let's get serious. If you in the Beta Quadrant or the Alpha Quadrant, you should know who Jean-Luc Picard is. I mean, let's get serious. In the last 30 years, men fought the Borg many a times. And the Borg is on everybody's list of somebody I just don't want to run into. So with that being said, everybody know who Jean-Luc Picard is. He's probably he in the top 10 most famous people in the galaxy. So with that being said, yeah. Or rather, I'm not going to say the galaxy because you got the Delta Quadrant and you got the Gamma Quadrant. And I'm pretty sure there's a whole ton of planets that they ain't never heard of Picard. But in the Alpha Quadrant and the Beta Quadrant, you absolutely do know who Jean-Luc Picard is. So I wouldn't have been surprised that this Captain Vedic, knows exactly who they are. But anyway, Captain Vedic goes off to talk about how the dude, Jack Crusher, is actually a fugitive. And he has been breaking numerous laws in and out of Federation territory. And there's a bounty on his head. Now, do I think objectively that there's really a bounty on his head? No, I think she's lying. But, we don't have no proof that she's lying. But then what happens is that later on in the episode, they discovered that, well, Jack Crusher is also the name of a lot of different people. He has aliases. So apparently the captain is telling the truth. And what happens is that she's giving them an ultimatum. She's like, listen, I'm going to give you an hour to decide what you want to do. And then also, hey, here's a sign of good faith that I'm serious. I'm going to lower my shields. Now, this was a power move on her part. I'm going to lower my shields. Because one, I don't think your weapons is that powerful. Two, your weapons ain't that powerful. And three, your weapons ain't that powerful. But I'm going to lower my shields so you can take a scan of what I got to offer. And what she was basically saying is that I'm going to lower my shields so you can see what I'm packing. And so then the ensign starts laboring off all her weapon systems. And she had like 80 like special type of torpedoes. Then she had 250 regular torpedoes. And then she had some new technology that they don't even know what it is. And so what happens is that Captain Shaw was like, yeah, I got you. I got the point. She's got some stuff. But see, Captain Shaw gets easily intimidated. And Captain Shaw also has forgot about the Kobayashi Maru, the no-win scenario test. Because he just looks at his ship as being like an explorer ship, not equipped to deal with whatever this ship is. And I say this, that I really wish that Admiral Picard would have put him in his place. And I really do wish that Captain Riker would have put him in his place. I mean, I understand this is his ship, but he acts so timid and soft and scary, quoting off regulations and rules about what is supposed to happen outside of Federation space. I mean, he reminds me of Insane Way to an extent. Like, dude, stop quoting regulations. You're not in Federation space, one. Two, you're not dealing with somebody that's wrapped too tight because she just threatened you about boasting and bragging about how many weapon systems she's got, which I'm not going to front. Her ship is pretty impressive. It looks like a big crab. And it's got some high power firepower. But, question for you. I know Starfleet is not supposed to be a military, but coming out of the Dominion War, why are your ships so ill prepared to engage adversaries outside of the Federation territory? I mean, this is a Constitution A refit retro vehicle. It's supposed to be state of the art. It's supposed to be top of the line. So why are the weapon systems subpar? I'll wait for somebody to give me an answer of why the weapon systems on this 25th century state of the art brand new ship so subpar. Now, question. Captain Riker commanded the ship 5 years before, the Titan, the original Titan, which was a Luna class ship. It was a salt ship. It was a beast. It had real teeth. Why did they downgrade the weapon systems for the new retrofit A Constitution variant? That's stupid. See, Starfleet is going back to this pacifistic crap. They're going back to these weak ships because they think everything is sweet. You can never be sweet. You still got the Borg in the Delta Quadrant. You still got species 8472 in fluidic space. And you got a bunch of upset, disgruntled Romulan parties out there in the galaxy waiting to attack you. So let's get serious. And now you got this sheer ship commanded by Captain Vedic, who is roaming around and she got all these high-powered weapons. No, that would not go unanswered, and we would have up-to-date ships. Anyway, I kind of digress, but I just had to vent about that because I thought that was stupid. But finally, Captain Shaw engages her, and she's like, listen, to give you an example, give you a small sample of my power, she does something that's kind of like a boss move. She literally throws the Helios, which is Jack Crusher and Beverly Crusher's weak, antiquated medical ship. Just another point is this. Why are all the medical ships weak? Don't even got no weapon system. I mean, this is the thing. Are all medical ships not weak? Are they all weak and they all easily, you can destroy? Anyway, she took her tractor beam and she literally slung it at the Titan Constitution variant. And it broke apart. But Okay, it penetrated the shields at full strength. What? What? Huh? The Titan is a state-of-the-art exploratory ship. And you're telling me the shields were at full strength and it threw it at like, I don't know, 1/4 impulse speed and it was able to penetrate the shields and have hull damage? What? Disappointed. Disappointed ain't even a word. Very upset because his ship is so weak compared to being the successor of the original Titan. Come on, man. That sucks. All right. So what happens is that now they decide with their hour if they're going to be able to release Jack Crusher over to Vedic, Captain Vedic. And what happens is that they're all wondering, is it Picard's son? And then Riker's like, what's going on? Is this your son? Or and he don't really ask, but he's like, what's going on? What's happening? And Picard, he's kind of like, I guess having a memory lapse because I mean, although he's in a synthetic body, he's kind of like not sure what's really going on. So I was just asking this dumb question, and maybe everybody in the audience can answer this question. You're on a Starfleet ship. You have a doctor. It's the 25th century. They could do it in the 24th century within like 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. Why do you not get a DNA sample, some blood from Jack Crusher, and compare it against Picard to see if they are blood related? What? I know the writers, are writing this episode, but come on now, let's get serious. They used to do that all the time on the Enterprise D, and that's like 30 years in the past. So come on now, they could have did that. It would have been a 100% match, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, that's his son." But they ain't do that. It's all speculation. So what happens is that finally, we show that this dude is also a criminal. Because he's in the brig. He put something on the side of the wall of the brig. He's talking to the Starfleet sail officer, and he's like, "Hey, listen, by Federation law, you have to tell me what type of brig shield this is, what frequency it's working on, if I choose to hurt myself." What? What stupid rule is that? Who thought of that? That's dumb. That's a dumb rule. If you try to hurt yourself and go and put your face or your hand on the shield wall, that's your dumb ass. But of course, because this Starfleet officer is gullible and dumb, guess what he does? He's like, oh, it's a level 10. And then he gets closer and the dude is able to break the level 10, which is the max shield for the brig. How the fuck did he know how to do that? What? So, this lets you know that, one, the USS Titan A Constitution variant technology is antiquated because everybody can breach. That's one. Two, the Captain Vedic can throw a ship and at 1/4 impulse speed or a little bit less and be able to breach the shields. And three, it's not armed to the teeth like it should be. It's not armed to the teeth. It's woefully outdated. Now, I'm going to speculate and assume that other YouTubers are going to cite these issues because, my little small channel, I'm sure that when y'all are watching the episode, y'all will be able to see for yourself, like, why is this a thing? And I know some people can say, oh, it's plot armor. This is what it's about. It'll be cinematic. No. The Federation is supposed to be logical. They're supposed to be pragmatic. And they're supposed to also realize that they live in a dangerous galaxy. But of course, the stupidity continues. Also, I just want to cite this about the episode. It's dark. It's dark. It's dark. It's dark. The main bridge is too freaking dark. It's too dark. I don't understand why it's so dark. If you look at the original Star Trek Next Generation, it was light. You look at Deep Space Nine, it was light. You look at Star Trek Voyager, it was light. I don't know why these ships are so utterly dark. Now, going back to Ralphie, because you know how I don't care about this particular arc of the episode. So Ralphie meets the Sneed guy. And the Sneed guy is acting like a drug dealer in the 21st century and in the 20th century. Because Sneed ain't dumb. She's talking about, oh, I work for the Romulan who attacked the recruitment facility, supposedly. I work for him. And Sneed is like, look, you smell like Section 31. Now, it's funny because people know about Section 31 in the 25th century. It's like they are that obvious. They Cloak and Dagger personality and persona has escaped because Section 31 is supposed to be feared. It's supposed to be like the Tao Shi'ar. But it's not. It's a joke. Everybody's talking about it now, which is crazy. So he's like, listen, let's prove it. So what does he do? He pulls out some kind of vial, puts it into some kind of container. It lights up. Now, it's a drug. She's a junkie. So what she does is she freaking puts it to her eye and it has some kind of light effect. And then she gets all strung out. And he's like, hey, you resisted for a little bit. So that means you are a pro. You are old school. And he's like, hey, who do you work for? Because I know you work for Starfleet. And what happens is that she's able to resist and she is about to get killed. And again, I'm wondering this question. It's the 25th century. It's the 25th century. Starfleet intelligence hasn't designed ways to counteract getting high off of drugs. I mean, surely we can't do it in the 21st century, but surely they could do it in the 25th century. They could find a way to counteract drugs with all their advanced medical technology. I guess not. So she's wallowing and she's trying to stop him. She stabs Sneed in the hand. He is disoriented, but his goons are trying to kill her. And then out of nowhere, I see a bunch of blood and slicing and cutting. And what happens is that all of the Romulan guards are dead on the ground. She's on the ground too. She gets picked up, and from her kind of like hallucinogenic state, you can see a dark-skinned fellow with a white beard. And then he was like, I told you to disengage. And it looks, and it has the Klingon music in the background, and it's Worf. So Worf, which a lot of us assume was her handler, Worf saves her life. And I guess this is how Worf is involved, because he's a part of Starfleet intelligence. But again, I'm not really a fan of the Ralphie arc. I think they should have nexed her. And also she's flying the La Sorensa, the ship. Yeah, her arc. So then we get back, and then what happens is that Admiral Picard basically talks with Jack Crusher Jr., because that's what his name would be if he's really Jack Crusher's son. And then what happens is that Captain Riker takes a sample of Beverly's blood. The doctor objects. She wakes up. And then while they're on the bridge, it's determined that they're not going to release him. Captain Shaw is basically like, look, we're going to release him because I'm not going to destroy my ship with 500 souls on it. Now, I got it. That makes sense. However, Shaw is weak, really weak. And he's not been against any kind of real adversaries. So anyway, what happens is a few seconds later, Captain Riker comes out of nowhere. He has Beverly. Beverly, she looks, beat up and just messed up. And she just looks at Picard. Picard looks at her. Picard closes his eyes. And basically, he's like, the Captain Shaw's like, hey, listen, go ahead and let him beam himself over there so that he can save the ship and we can go out of business. And then Admiral Picard's like, delay that order. Admiral's orders. Yo, if you could do that as an admiral and you could override his authority, you should have did that from the beginning, dog. It's a complete, utter waste of time. Anyway, so with that being said, they decide to not hand them over. And what occurs is that Captain Shaw agrees, and then they fire like 2 torpedoes at the front of this ship, and then they go into the nebula deeper. Now, my question is, why they didn't just go to warp? You telling me this ship's got a faster warp drive than y'all too? So let's see. Faster warp, better weapons, better shields. Come on now, what is Starfleet engineering doing about designing ships that are actually like way more advanced than everybody else's in the galaxy? Terrible. Anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all sitting in with me for a few ticks. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Give me y'all comments in the comment section. This episode, if I had to rate it from 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 4, 4.5. The Ralphie arc is completely not necessary. I know they want to incorporate Worf, but like the whole drugs and the gangster, and then also even with Captain Vedic, you know, the whole smoking on the ships, and these are all 21st century qualities. Well, excuse me, all 21st century detriments and vices that they're incorporating in the 21st century, I mean, 25th century. They're supposed to be technologically superior and evolved and all this other stuff. It's really an episode that they could have did without. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I might be wrong. But anyway, in the comment section, by all means, tell me what you think. Tell me if you liked the episode. Tell me if you hated the episode. Tell me if they could have improved in the episode. But once again, thanks y'all. Live long and prosper.